Welcome to the podcast. I think we're at the 12th episode of our DaPod series, and I don't want to waste time on an intro or something like that. But today's guest is going to be a very special one for me. It's a very interesting one, something that I am very interested in, which I always looked up to, and I think many of us would also feel the same as well. So I don't want to waste any time. Let me introduce to you my friend Varun. What's up?
Hi Raghu.
What's up?
How is it going with you?
I think it's going great. And as you have already guessed by now with his uniform, the first uniform person on our podcast. So
Thank you so much. Firstly, thanks for that great intro.
Yeah. So Varun's a pilot or
Training pilot. You can say he's a training pilot.
I mean, you've already passed that first test or something like that.
Yeah, but that's so basic, so you can still call me a training pilot.
Well, you are a pilot for us, so we're normal human beings. You're a pilot for us. And what's up, man? How is it going?
So as you told, I've just completed my basic phase, where I've flown like about 50 hours. I've flown these small aircraft called Cessna 152. And these are like the tiny babies of the aviation industries.
These are like those are like the two-seater ones.
Literally just two-seater, and you just stick to the person beside you. So it's like not even it's even tighter than the Maruti 800, like basically.
Oh, fuck.
So you just have to manage that. But this is the golden time, like as of all the instructors say, this is the real flying which you do. Like not exaggerating, but when you get into the aviation thing, it's more of like an autopilot stuff. Like it's comparatively little easier than what you actually do in this. Here you'll be totally flying visually, and it's like more of a manual work.
I have no idea what you just said. It's very technical terms. Yeah. But I've heard the Cessna term from I think GTA Vice City, I guess. There is you fly an aircraft, and the moment you get on the aircraft, the word Cessna comes.
Cessna comes up, yeah.
So that is my introduction to.
That's like some 90s kind of aircraft. Like it's a manufacturing company. Okay. Like how you have Airbus and Boeing. It's a kind of a manufacturing company similarly.
Well, in that scenario, I mean, I have flown airplanes as well. So you could say.
If you consider that, yes, you have flown.
With a little bit, I'm closer to what you're doing. So I want to talk a lot about. This aviation stuff, and so just give me an idea of why Varun wanted to be a pilot. Like, where did this aviation come from?
Yeah, maybe like if this aviation wasn't there, you could have seen Varun as maybe like a musician in a bar, or maybe some other regular guy doing engineering in some other, United States or some other place. Mm-hmm. But I think not the first one. It's just. The first thing which just pulls you towards that.
Okay.
I think it was the parades which generally go on during the Independence Day and stuff.
The
flag parading. Yeah. I think it was the first time India has conducted that, and I don't know why my father felt to take me there, and that was the first time.
Where was this? In Hyderabad? No.
Begumpet. You have this.
It happens. They had air shows
out the
yes.
So that was the first sight of the aircraft and an actual pilot.
Yeah.
I think that just stuck in my mind. That did not actually push me. That was just the first impression of
the seed. Like that's a seed.
That's a seed basically.
That's a seed. Nice.
Seed laga. And then later, when I started traveling, when I started seeing pilots. Maybe the uniform first thing. I think the uniform is what pulled me towards that. And
I mean, but the moment when you're walking around the airport, you see them with their bags, with their aviators and all that. It's actually very cool. Mm-hmm. They don't give a fuck about anything. They just straight from your point gate A to gate B or something like that. So it's actually very cool looking at it.
Okay, as you feel it's cool, I'll just ask you one. Like, what's your view on a pilot? Like, you have seen many pilots outside in the airports while traveling. Yeah. So what's your view on their lives? Like, how do you think they'll go on their lives?
I would say it's very stressful. It's coming from a person who obviously is a passenger. So to be able to control a large 1,000 tons aircraft with 100 or 120 souls on board, it's actually very stressful. I would say for me to understand. Like I'm putting my entire life. Like 100 people are putting their entire lives on one person and a steering wheel. So that's I think the first thing I think about is very stressful, and again another thing is that from the same stress it comes to a answer where it's very exciting, where a single person is controlling a machinery like this. So I'm very into automobiles and all, to be able to control a car. I get so excited. Like imagine controlling a fucking aircraft.
Like you feel that power in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. Like, your throttle can actually push it to another 500 km/h speed. So it's fascinating and also very stressful to understand it. But yeah, obviously we have many trained pilots, very professionally trained. So that's what makes me.
To be frank, you're the first person. Like I'm actually serious. You're the first person who actually, like, I could say you have understood us.
Yeah.
Many of them, the most common answer which I get is, I think it's just the takeoff part which is difficult. As soon as you take off, you just put on autopilot, right? Like that's the only statement which I get from all the regular people. Like when I just ask them about that.
I don't think it's autopilot. I mean, there's more to do, like the flaps and all, controlling the temperatures and all. I mean, my knowledge of this comes from those little simulation games that we play, the airplane simulation. So. Yeah. In just that you have to control everything, like you need to control, okay, you're landing there, so this is what your speed has to be. So that's what's very exciting to me. Yeah, just tell me about this autopilot thing, man. Does it actually, like, is it just a button and that's it?
Yeah, like as of the knowledge I have, like I'm not into the Airbus or Boeing yet.
Yeah, the passenger aircraft yet, yeah.
So what I have flown was entirely manual. I think what I know, according to my knowledge,
I wouldn't trust a trainee pilot with an autopilot yet. Please complete 2,000 hours, then touch autopilot.
So basically, yeah, as you told, it's just a button actually.
Okay.
In different aircrafts, it has different controls. Like for example, on Airbus, the manufacturer which Airbus does, it controls like it has multiple functions which the autopilot controls. Whereas in Boeing, I think the auto throttle function, like it's an independent one.
Okay.
So basically, it controls everything. It can control the navigation part, like it can show you the route and stuff.
You can just put a GPS and it just travels that track.
So and basically how it works is initially during the pre-flight, if you see before you even enter the aircraft, the pilots are already in the aircraft most of the time.
They're already starting.
The thing is that no, they will never start the engine. The thing is they'll set up the aircraft first, where you have to set up the autopilot, the computers, where you have to input all the waypoints. Like for example, if you have to go to just for example, if you have to go to like Begumpet or some other area.
Okay.
So when you give the land, when you inform a person about the route, you'll naturally give some waypoints through the route.
Yeah.
Like of course,
like
we have these Google Maps, landmarks.
Yeah.
The important landmarks.
Okay.
In the similar way, we have these so-called as waypoints. In the air, there's a like dummy waypoints which have been created just for the aviation purpose.
Okay.
So when you get a specific route, like for example, if you are traveling from Hyderabad to Delhi, there are already some specified internationally approved routes, waypoints. Okay. So you have to input those waypoints, and the aircraft once inserted, it will once you like set up the autopilot and you push the autopilot after takeoff, it will follow the route.
So so you said Delhi, it's fairly a shorter distance. Mm-hmm. So is this the same thing for like if you're flying to, let's just say, a non-stop flight to New York?
It's the same.
You just put the waypoint from Hyderabad airport to...
like you don't insert them. Like you have many other shortcuts, like all these waypoints together have been given a folder name. Okay. So you just enter that folder name and
it's like a template. It's already flown area, so it's a template. You just have to set.
You just have to just insert the folder name or just the route name.
Okay.
And the waypoints will automatically come.
And last question about autopilot. So. So the moment you press the button, you said there's some autopilot that controls throttle, some autopilot controls GPS. What is it that you have to do when it is on autopilot? Like as a captain or as a first officer, obviously you have to monitor everything that's happening.
Yeah, the main purpose when autopilot is on for a pilot, I think it's the monitoring purpose. Yeah. Like autopilot does it for you, but that's the reason where the main pilot role comes in. We are like the, if something goes wrong, if the autopilot malfunctions.
So you are the troubleshooters.
We are the only kind of troubleshooters and the last option left in the aircraft.
So you could say most of your job would be to
kind of monitoring,
more than driving. Like the aircraft can it take off on its own?
Yes, like the latest technologies are evolving. I think it's already there. Oh. The aircraft can take off itself. I think it's in the testing stage.
Oh.
And if you see these few airports like Istanbul,
Okay.
Turkey,
Okay.
there are few limitations in certain weather conditions. Even the highest qualified pilot cannot land manually. You have to land out with autopilot. Like it's called as Cat 3 Charlie, where you have to set up the Cat 3 Charlie autopilot, and the aircraft will land itself.
Wait, you're telling me autopilot does a better job at landing than I'm not
Yeah.
insinuating that, but
Yeah.
so there are places where actually
Where you have to
autopilot-
use, it's a regulation. Like by law, you have to land using autopilot.
I've heard the opposite, like, it's manually, how to judge things, but why is it like a short runway or something?
No, it's not about the runway. It's about the weather conditions.
Okay.
Wherein in I think Istanbul, it's about the fog and hazy weather, where you literally just can see like zero visibility. They call it zero visibility landing.
Yeah.
So in such conditions, there's no scope of even locating a proper runway. So the aircraft does it for us.
Oh, that's amazing to hear, like how evolved.
But that sounds scary for us because it just it sounds as a replacement for pilots.
Oh shit. But I don't think autonomous cars and all, it's fine. That I don't think pilots will ever be replaced completely.
Yeah.
I mean, at least maybe there'll be one pilot, but I don't think pilots should be replaced.
Actually, you're on track. Actually, Airbus is conducting few experiments wherein they are
Autonomous flights.
no in single pilot operations.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it
So they're
makes sense.
getting-
As a workforce as well, finding it is business ultimately in some ways.
True. Yeah. For the airlines, it's business, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like for a
But I think
for example, take a passenger, regular passenger, common passenger, who doesn't fly many times. Like occasionally, he just goes on a trip with his family and stuff. So, do you think a person who's like a responsible middle class citizen will trust a single person sitting in that aluminium box traveling at like 1000 kmph?
Yeah,
Just trusting on one
That
person.
makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's gonna be a major uproar if something like that ever comes up. But
Like, if you ask me this question, I'll always try to support my side.
obviously, I would agree. Oh shit, that's actually exciting. So what are the kinds of aircraft? You said you've only flown Cessna or anything
Yeah, for now I
else?
just flown Cessna. In Cessna, we have these models called 152, 172s. And for my future thing, I'll be flying Airbus A320, 300,
I've heard the name
320.
A320.
Yeah, that's the regular aircraft which we have in Indigo.
Uh-huh.
Vistara has 320s. I think all the Indian airlines except for SpiceJet airlines have
So
these
these are
A320s.
like those like three-seater, like the smaller
Oh
aircraft.
yeah. These are called as the single aisle aircraft, narrow body aircrafts,
Okay.
where you just have one aisle, the walking area between
Yeah,
the seats
exactly.
is just one. Whereas if you go for the bigger ones, like if you see those Emirates, 777 aircrafts, or you also have Airbus A380s, which is the two-level
Okay.
one. In those you'll have like double aisle, like you'll have 3 rows of seating.
Yeah.
So those have greater capacities and like
They
for
can
these,
fly for a larger distance.
longer distances.
More fuel capacity, more bigger
Obviously,
engine.
yeah,
obviously.
they'll have bigger fuel tank capacity.
So you're gonna fly A380?
If the time goes well, good.
So those are for training as well. Like there won't be any passengers when you're flying.
No, like initially we'll be trained without any passengers, as you said. Like there'll be trainee pilots with us, so they'll be checking for about like. I think until they are like confident on us enough,
Okay.
we'll be flying empty flights.
So you've said
Without
50 hours. 50 hours is
For now,
what?
just 50 hours.
So at what stage would you be given the first officer? Maybe let us say first officer. Like how? What is the time limit for to be a first officer?
Okay, so like if you want it, like it's not a time limit. Like each airline has its own way of like putting it, naming them.
Okay.
Like for example, initially they just used to be first officer, captain, and I think a senior captain or something like that.
There were 3 people.
No, like I mean the levels of pilots.
Sorry. Yeah.
Later it just started to get down. Like you have this second officer.
Okay.
Then you have first officer. Then there came senior first officer. Then we have the captain and senior captain, commander and stuff. So it changes from airline to airline. Each airline takes their own way of the nomenclature kind of thing.
Answer me this. We have seen many aircraft related movies. Sometimes the plane just the engine fucks off, or it's hijacked and they kill the pilot, or something happens to a pilot and he's just incapacitated to fly the plane. And we see these, these teenagers who have played some PlayStation stuff on airplane, and they just come there and they try to land the aircraft.
Kind of saviors.
How true is that? Can a norm? So my question is, can I, in case of the pilot is incapacitated, can I, with the help of the air traffic control, can I land the plane without any prior knowledge of aircraft?
Aviation or aircraft.
Yeah. Except for PlayStation.
I think, yeah, I get it. I'm not sure on that. Like, just to give my opinion, I'm not entirely sure on that. When you say it's, you have support from ATC, I think you can land an aircraft by yourself, like a regular passenger who's not having any aviation background or anything related to the aircraft, the controls and stuff. I think you can land an aircraft.
Okay. That's very.
Don't try that.
That's very promising. No, given the chance, I would. I mean, who would want to fly an aircraft? Oh, that's amazing. I see these books that you guys carry inside the aircraft. Like when all my knowledge comes from movies. So something happens and this first off is like opening a book and still reading. Like, haven't you guys learned it in your college times? And why are you reading it during an emergency?
Okay, let me just put this way. Like we have done our schooling, high school and everything stuff. Intermediate basically. Yeah. Like in Indian intermediate, Chaitanya and Narayana and stuff. Like, if you want, you can just edit this stuff. Like, just tell me, do you remember sine square plus cos square?
Tan square? No. Sine square plus cos square is equal to... What is it for? It's 1, yes.
So, like... Thank you, bro. Like, there are, like, similarly, there are many stuff which you can't remember. Like, I think it's the limitation of the human brain itself. When it comes to the aircraft, like sine square, cos square, they're like, I think 6, right? The logarithm got 6. Yeah, I don't remember.
Please help me out. He's putting me on the spot.
No, I mean, like, just the 6 we used to like struggle a lot. Yeah. Then here you have like, I think Airbus approximately they have like around 600 to like more than 700 kind of buttons, and you have different buttons as well. Yeah. And each button has its own significance, and every button is like they're very very sensitive as well. So it's always to be on the safe side. And considering
so it's a confirmation thing rather than not knowing. It's a confirmation.
Just as a confirmation, like first thing, aviation works on the basis of safety.
Yeah.
You may call it business, but even upon business, it's safety which takes over.
Fair enough.
So for that reason,
we
never, we just have a.
I understand. Now that you mention safety, it makes sense. When those. Like you're doing, let's just say, like checking the flaps or something. The first officer checks the flaps and he also repeats it verbally so that he has confirmed it, and the pilot, the main captain, has also confirmed it. Just to so that they're on the same level. Yeah. And also it so that it gets recorded in the black box, I believe. Yeah.
No. When it comes to the black box thing, like now we have come into that context. This black box, like everyone thinks that it's a kind of it is a recorder. But it's not like something which can be which you listen up daily. Like after every flight, no one just comes and takes the black box or takes a recording of it. Black box is like something which is like you don't even touch it.
Okay,
when something happens to the aircraft or if any catastrophic things occurs, that's the only time when the black box is touched.
So it's like
it always auto-writes itself. Like after a flight, it auto-writes itself. Every flight. Like I think, if I'm not wrong, it has a capacity for about 2 hours before the before something happens. You can store the recording up to 2 hours before the occurrence.
Oh, okay.
So even it has got.
You could say it's like a memory stick for an entire aircraft.
Yeah.
As a safe side.
Yeah.
And it records everything, like the altitude and everything, right? I believe.
Everything, like.
Any button you push, it's recorded in the black box.
Yeah, just to put it in simple words, any button, any movement you do to the controls, flight controls. And any voice conversations between you and the cabin crew behind as well, between you and co-pilot.
No, even the crew as well.
Yeah, like, if you want it to be precise, like you have 2 parts of the black box.
Okay.
Black box is not one thing.
Okay.
One is the cockpit voice recorder, which is inside the cockpit, which records every stuff of the cockpit, like as you told, the buttons and everything. One is the FDR, flight data recorder, which records the other, the remaining stuff of the aircraft. So together they call it as a black box, and I don't know why still they call it a black box, being in orange color. It's actually in orange color, but they call it black box.
Shit! What a scam, dude! It's orange.
It's an
color.
orange color. Yeah.
Oh damn! I mean, maybe it just sounds cool to call it a black box. Like, oh, nice. So, yeah, talking about black box, it took me back memory down the MH370 aircraft.
Yeah. It's still like, yes.
What
Sad,
the
pretty
fuck
much
is
sad
that,
with
dude? What happened? Like, it's still not conclusive that what
Still
happened.
not, yeah. Even the, I don't know. Like, to my knowledge, like they couldn't properly figure out the area of incident where it occurred. Like after passing the Jakarta area, when it entered the ocean area, they just lost the signal.
vanished.
Yeah. And they were finding the wreckages of the aircraft on the seashores.
And
stuff.
they even found wreckages in the Australian coast.
Exactly.
Like for a wreckage to end up in the Australian coast, it is. I mean, what could have happened to that?
I don't know. I can't even imagine the survivor. I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
I don't even have a hope of survival.
We have no idea how it happened. Like,
Yeah.
let's take for that Titan submarine which happened a few months
Oh yeah,
ago.
the recent one.
So you know what happened, so you can imagine how bad it was. But in the case of MH370, we have no clue.
No clue at all.
Like, did it implode? Did it explode? Did it just drown? It's. I mean, the day it happened, I very distinctly remember. I woke up. I used to read. I think social media was not that big. Like, we didn't have immediate news back in the day.
Oh yeah.
So I think it was the newspapers which I found, like something like flight disappeared. What do you mean flight disappeared?
Exactly. When you read that flight disappeared.
What is flight disappearance, bro? So it was oh my god, I've seen that documentary on Netflix as well. They recorded it was. I mean, it's still not conclusive what happened to it. It's
they're not yet come to a conclusion.
Mind-boggling. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's. Do you have any thoughts on that, or should we just? I want to just continue on that, but.
Like, if you want to continue on these incidents kind of thing, yes, there did occur an incident before we were born, in about I think 1970s, where these Boeing 747 aircrafts, like which are they call it the queen of the skies. Like if you have seen aviation stuff,
I do.
You have a hump on an aircraft.
Yeah.
Like it has a double deck.
On the pilots.
On the pilots
yes,
area.
yes.
That's called the 747 aircraft.
Okay.
So there was this, I think, flight in, like there's a small airport, island airport called Tenerife Airport in Canary Islands.
Yeah.
There are these, I think one of the aircraft was from KLM Airline and the other one is from Pan Am Airlines. So, like that's a very small airport, and there was some major incident or bomb blast in a nearby airport. So they had to divert all the aircrafts to this small island airport. So there was too much congestion around the airport. And for these big aircrafts, they have to taxi to the runway for takeoff.
Yeah.
So when they finally got the clearance to go to the destination airports, when they were taxiing, they got the permission to actually backtrack on the runway.
So taxi, you mean after landing to go into the slots? Like that's what you mean.
Yeah,
by
that's
taxi.
called as taxi part. And also when you come out of the
It's
slot,
after landing.
to
You mean to say taxiing after landing? Taxiing,
no.
matlab it's after landing. That's right.
No, before takeoff as well.
We are bachas. We don't know this term.
Cool. Just to put it simply, when you just move
Parking.
the
You are
aircraft,
parking the aircraft after you land. Yeah,
that's called taxiing.
Okay.
And when you go to the runway for takeoff,
yeah.
that's called as taxiing.
Yeah.
So these guys were taxiing, and they were taxiing on the runway in the opposite direction. And the visibility got so bad during that time. Like they couldn't see the aircraft which is approaching them.
Not even the ATC.
ATC could see, I think he was too much of
there was
under
too much
pressure because of
workload.
the overcrowd.
Because it's already a smaller
airport.
so they
Too
never
much
had
crowd at
experience
the time.
with much traffic.
Exactly. And there was another aircraft which is already lined up on the runway, which is waiting for clearance for takeoff.
Okay.
And due to so much of congestion between the communication stuff, I think it was misunderstood by the one of the aircraft which was ready for takeoff, and they started taking off. They started their roll on the runway, and on the other side, another aircraft was backtracking to go to the takeoff position.
Okay.
And like you could imagine, they were literally head on.
Yeah.
And the pilot who was taxiing just tried to veer away from the runway. It was too late for them, and they just collided.
The both.
Like they call it the worst aviation tragedy ever happened.
Oh, damn. That's scary.
Yeah, like few things are scary, but if you see the statistics, flying is the safest means of transport. Like, come on, like
Yeah.
in Hyderabad, you see like literally I think every hour you see an incident happening on the road. So, yeah, the statistics says that flying is the safest mode of transport.
That's scary. I've seen this movie called 222.
Okay.
It's not about aircraft. It's about some love story and all. It's a Hollywood movie, and the main protagonist of the movie is a air traffic control guy, like the main guy in that tower. So there is a scene that happens where one aircraft is landing, and this aircraft is taking off. Like the runways are like this.
I get
It's
it.
a cross
I
runway.
remember this. Like, I think
Yeah.
many of them have
Yeah.
seen it in the
reels and all,
in the
yeah.
shorts and reels. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just add some
It's
crazy
must have-
music to that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they just
exactly.
do that.
Like, has something like that happened, or because I remember reading it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm just recollecting my stuff. Yeah, I think I can put it out. The same incident which you were telling about just happened to me in those 50 hours itself.
Let's
With
not.
this
I mean, if
Cessna.
it is a problem
No,
for
it's
you,
not.
wait.
No,
Sure.
I think I can sell it. My initial training, the 50 hours which was done by Cessna, was done in Europe.
Okay.
There are a few aerodromes which are uncontrolled. Wherein, like for example, if you have this Hyderabad airport, Delhi airport, Indira Gandhi, these are called as controlled airports, where you have a tower.
Who has
where
to give you a clearance to get in?
clearance? You need to ask prior permission to do anything on the, with the aircraft.
Even if you're passing over the airspace, you need to at least.
Anything.
Yeah.
Literally, like if you're even taking off, you're even starting the engine, you have to ask for permission.
Oh, okay.
These are like uncontrolled airports over there, where you just inform, you just broadcast on the radio. There'll be other aircrafts around the aerodrome which will be landing or which will be taking off, and you do it twice so that you just
Confirmation
kind of.
yeah.
And there's no proper ATC, like a managed ATC over there. So I just landed in the one of the aerodromes, and we are done with refueling. I was with the instructor. My instructor just went for a break. Even we both went for a small break, and it's our turn for takeoff. Like we had, we have this UDP, this kind of stuff. So we had to go back immediately. And I started my takeoff roll. Like I was on the runway. I've broadcasted twice that
You're
taking off runway. I don't remember the runway number.
Yeah.
I was taking off, and as you told, it has a similar cross runway. Like you have an intersection where two runways intersect in the shape of an X.
Yes.
Like I don't know where that guy just came in. I was almost at my V1, like the speed, the takeoff speed.
Takeoff speed.
Yeah, to be
Okay, yeah.
The takeoff speed. I was almost at that takeoff speed wherein I cannot abort anymore.
Okay.
I cannot abort the takeoff. Like if I start applying brakes, the
it
runway
rolls
won't be
over.
sufficient to stop.
Oh, okay.
So that's the speed where it's called as rotation, like V1 speed.
Okay.
Wherein if
You
you
have to
reach
take
that
off.
speed, you have to lift off.
Okay.
If it's above that speed, there's no scope of stopping within the runway distance. It's already calculated before.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's calculated because of the runway's length.
Yeah,
and all.
runway
Yeah.
length and stuff. Runway length and weight limitations.
Yeah.
So I was at that speed, and there was no scope of aborting the takeoff. And this guy suddenly comes in, and I think this Cessna 172. He just comes in for landing on the cross runway.
Like this.
He was landing on the runway, and I was taking off like this. I just saw my instructor's face. Like he was, I think he was startled with that situation.
Oh, shit.
Like that's so lame. Like when you have an uncontrolled aerodrome, when I'm broadcasting twice, you could have at least told me once, like landing on runway, so and so runway on the intersection runway, so that I could have been more cautious on that, or I could have just delayed by a minute after you land. I could have taken off. I don't know. Like he landed far on the runway. Like it wasn't disturbing me, but there's something called as go around procedure.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Like, if you
Where
see
the-
a aircraft, you just have to take another round and all, and
Yeah,
come back
like
again.
you'll just stop the
Reattempt.
landing, reattempt for another landing. You just lift off from the position,
So
like
I
in the
think
air.
that is the reason why when you're landing, you're enough speed where you can again take off in case
Again,
of
take
any
off.
emergency.
That's why you don't put the engines to idle. You always
yeah.
maintain some power so that
So
if
you
you have
can
to
again
get that
push it again to
immediately.
go up. Yeah.
Yeah. So when it was
Yeah,
landing, I was almost
I
at
know
rotation
stuff,
take.
man.
Yeah, he was upset. So when I was almost at the takeoff speed, he was landing. Like he managed to land on the runway. Just imagine if he decides to abort the landing. If he decides to go around, like literally, I would have been on the air, and his flight path maybe would have crossed mine.
We'll never
Like that was one
scary.
scary situation which I faced in my life so far. I hope I don't get many more like that.
Yeah, that must be fucking scary, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
scary. Like it's an experience. It's not that I was alone. I was with an instructor,
Yeah.
a trained instructor. So in a way, I was on the safer side. But even it was an surprise situation for him as well.
Yeah.
Like having an aircraft to land
And take
in
off.
the intersection runway. Like if you see the Mumbai airport,
Yeah.
it has the same configuration, the
X.
cross runway, X runway.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah,
whenever
they have a
there's
new terminal,
position-
so I think that's interjecting as well. I think that new terminals.
terminal is just a building actually. They already have 2 runways,
Okay.
and depending on the wind conditions, they use like.
Acha.
But whenever they operate, they just operate on 1 runway.
Uh-huh.
They don't compromise on these situations because something like this can happen anytime.
Yes.
So they just operate on 1 runway.
Worst case
Just
scenarios,
depends.
like worst weather
Yeah, it's
conditions.
like a secondary runway. Like if you have a aircraft which has stopped on the runway, or you have some malfunction on the aircraft which is on the runway, or you have some other dust or foreign object, some other debris on the runway, you can use the other runway for
Dude,
operations.
Mumbai airport is amazing, bro. Like you have those airport walls, and then there's like a building right outside the wall. Like when I went to Mumbai for the first time, I had a connecting flight to Singapore,
Uh-huh, okay.
and yeah, just going sidetrack, but oh my god, Mumbai's airport is too good. Like I thought Rajiv Gandhi was amazing, but oh my god,
No.
Mumbai airport is amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's just too good. It's just too good. So yeah, I mean, when I look at my Hyderabad airport, it's you have to travel to a village, and there's nothing 50 kilometers around this. You can't even actually look at the aircraft from some distance. But they're like pirate Brazilian scooters. They can see a flight land.
You can
Must
actually,
be so interesting. Must be so amazing. That's why maybe many of the what do you call them? Plane spotters.
Yeah, planes.
Yeah, we have many of them coming from Mumbai.
Yeah. Like I think there's one specific spot where you can just record the aircraft landing. Like it's at the edge of the runway. I see many videos doing many video
The Mumbai-
plane spotters,
yeah, yes.
and there's also the walkway bridges which you have for the road crossing, pedestrian crossing stuff. I think it's close by to the airport as well.
Yeah.
Where there's one plane spotter who does plane spotting over the bridge.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Like
It's just so cool to look at.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of videos about this plane spotting thing. There's this one, there are many Indian people, and there's this guy called Lucas on air. I think there's a YouTube channel.
okay.
He reports some weird stuffs happening with plane. Like it's a 4-minute video, and it's like look at this guy trying to land the plane during these weather conditions. He says in a voiceover, and they just lands it. It's a very cool channel. I'll send you a link.
Yeah.
It's not plane spotting. It's basically all the funny things, all the weird things,
Got it. Yeah.
all the amazing things happening with a person in an aircraft. It could be
Yeah.
that, or it could be a helicopter or whatever. Have you driven an helicopter?
No, that's totally different. Like you literally need a different license for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's training is. I think. I'm not sure, but I think it's more intense than aircraft, helicopter.
Why? It's just up and down, nah. This
Yeah,
is like
even
you're
this
doing
is just this stuff.
No, you're doing all these things. Like, this is like you can land it on my building.
I can't comment on that.
Yeah.
It's totally different from aircrafts.
So, but do you think a pilot, an aircraft pilot, can in emergency situations can fly a
Helicopter.
Emergency, maybe I can.
Maybe emergency. I think it just maybe a pilot in an emergency situation. You can just. I think the stimuli it just comes in. Maybe.
Tom Cruise has a helicopter license.
Helicopter
He has a
license.
fighter jet license. He has a commercial plane license. What the fuck is that, dude?
That guy's just
ఇక్కడ ఒక్కటి తీసుకోవడానికి నానా
ఒక్కటికి అయిపోతుంది ఇక్కడ తీరిపోతుంది.
But come on, that guy. He even has yacht license and all.
Seriously?
Yeah, boating license, yacht license. He's flown helicopters for his own movie, Mission Impossible, last movie, like that Henry Cavill movie, Ankota.
Okay.
He was driving that
He
helicopter.
himself was flying the
Yeah, he was driving the helicopter. And he's doing all those maneuvers and stuff. And did you see the recent movie? He jumped off a cliff and stuff.
Oh yeah, the bike stunt, yes.
It's just, I think he just wants to die as a daredevil, like in a heroic way.
I think first thing passion అనిపిస్తుంది నాకైతే.
Yeah.
When you just have passion for anything, like it's not only that, it's not in case of him itself. Like దీంట్లో కూడా aviation లో కూడా, like when someone wants to get into this industry or someone wishes to that, like as you told intro lo, you told that many dreamt of it or many aspire for that.
Not many.
Yeah, but not many can achieve. Like I don't say like everyone. There are few like hurdles which has to be crossed
You need
first.
to be mentally strong
Mentally,
for
and the main thing into aviation is finances.
yeah.
Like it's to be open. Like I think it's an open thing. Like it's too costly. Like aviation industry is very costly, and it just takes a lot of time. You have to invest a lot of time. Like you just like if you want to rush up your training. Like for now, as I've completed 50 hours, immediately in the next day I want to start the bigger aircraft training, and I just want to go into the airline as soon as possible. That's not possible here. You have to give the
Timelines.
Yeah, it takes a time because you're not alone here. There are many trainings to be conducted. There are many other pilots who are being trained along with simultaneously. So అవన్నీ కన్సిడర్ చేస్తూ
you told you're doing some online classes and stuff. Why are you doing online classes? Go to practical stuff, man. What online classes, bro? What?
When I first told this to my cousins as well,
Yeah.
they were like, seriously? Are you learning to fly the aircraft online?
Exactly.
How do you want people to trust you in the aircraft?
But do you have simulators on your laptop? Are you doing that?
No, the thing is, what we do in online is basically the theory stuff which we learn. Like as you told,
Obviously, yes.
like you just told that, like, don't you remember all those emergency stuff in this? We learn all those emergency stuff. We learn the procedures of different aircraft. We learn the automation stuff, the buttons, their functioning stuff. All this stuff are taught in the classes. And once you're done with these classes, they take you into the simulators, where you get to experience what you have studied in the classes. So that gives you like more of a prior, they just prepare you prior to getting into the simulators.
We have no idea about this. Our practical exams, Sri Chaitanya Narayana practical exams. They gave us chits and we were doing that. It's so weird. What you said, like, learning and then simulators, zero. That's exciting. So you told me, Hari told me that you've flown your first aircraft alone.
Yeah.
You did, like, how was that? Walk me through that experience. Scary, interesting, exciting?
I should say it's a mix of emotions.
Okay.
It was like, as you told, scary. Yes, it was a bit scary initially. But once I felt the power, like when I felt that the aircraft was in my control, the feel you get is, like the high you get is very different. Like I think it's just a mix of emotions. Like the thing that makes you more, like first thing, you're flying the aircraft entirely yourself.
Yes.
Like, okay, aeroplane మొత్తం నీ చేతిలో ఎగిరింది. That itself is like a achievement stuff.
Yeah.
And it just stays with you for life. Like if you go and ask any other pilot in the industry, like be it the guy who's retiring tomorrow, అతన్ని అడిగినా కానీ
The first experience.
the first flight, the first solo flight, he literally remembers with the date itself. Date తో పాటు అతను గుర్తు, because that's the first time you actually fly the aircraft. Like mine was on 25th of July, the same year.
Yeah.
So it just stays with you for life.
How long were you in the air?
Sorry?
How long were you in the air?
I was for about 4 hours totally solo.
4 hours you were driving alone?
No, it's not at a stretch. It was in like I took off, came to land. Yeah.
What do you do, like, just like you're traveling and all, you just put on some music and just chill? Watch some Netflix or something, finish a series, no?
Like basically, if you see these commercial pilots, they remove their headsets during the flight. They don't put it on.
They
all
take some rest as well, I guess.
You could ask me. Yeah, you could tell it as a rest as well.
I mean, long flights like 18 hours, 19 hours long flights. Yeah, they do obviously need to take rest.
They also have a secondary crew, wherein these first two pilots who took off from the start point A, they go to rest. These two will take off during the cruise part.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
They do these stuff in the long haul flights, like especially these Bangalore, San Francisco routes and stuff.
Oh, that's exciting.
They have a secondary crew.
Of course, that makes sense, but I've never heard like a airline would spare 2 other pilots just to sell. But
they do have these.
It's amazing.
So in those conditions, you don't put your headsets on all the time. Come on, like who would put headsets on for like 18, 19? We have this option called as on air, like speaker. Like you have a speaker option in there, and it's not that you can't listen to any other music. You have to be on the comms frequency, because when you're passing through an area, like you're literally like you'll be passing over some of the other area below. Ground. So they'll be the in charge of you. You'll be on their radar. They can see you. They can see your speed, altitude, which direction you're flying, and judging your position, they'll direct other flights.
For security reason, of course. Like there might be
safety at the end, safety again.
There might be restricted airspaces.
That's another issue.
Yeah. So you need to be obviously on that.
You need to be on the frequency always.
Can you like let's just say you're flying, and there's another aircraft let's just say 1,000 miles away or 1,000 kilometers, and you're both flying like this or like on opposite direction. Can you speak with them as well?
Yes, actually.
Just to have a communication.
Yeah. There's actually a universal, they call it the inter-pilot frequency, where you can just set in that frequency and you can actually communicate with the other aircrafts. Even if they have to be in the same frequency as well. It's not that you are tuned onto that and you can just simply. Even they have to be on the same frequency, both, then you can.
So it's like, like somebody coming from the opposite direction. अरे भाई वहाँ पे बहुत बारिश गिर रही भाई, जरा धीरे से चलाओ भाई, जरा ब्रेक मत मारो.
मामू है आगे, मामू है बता सकते.
भाई बीच में रुक के पानी पूरी खाना है भाई.
Even those communication frequencies are recorded. So there are few ways where you can actually greet a person. Like as you told, a situation has occurred for me during my initial training, wherein I was getting into I was following a route, and there was other aircraft who was coming on the same route towards me. Like we were on different altitudes, so that wasn't an issue at all. ATC informed us, like there's an aircraft coming towards you at a lower altitude than you. So we were fine with that. But when we saw each other, when we had a visual of each other, I didn't knew that. Like as a trainee pilot, I knew what to do. Like, maybe it's just passing through. We just check the altitude and if it's clear of or not. My instructor suddenly started waving the wing. Like, I was like, man, what are you doing? He started waving. Then I saw the other aircraft started doing that. Then I just said, okay, so what's going on, Captain? I just asked him. He was like, this is kind of a greet, like, meet and greet kind of when you see each other in the air. He was another training captain.
I don't think they'll make that. I don't think they'll do it on an actual passenger.
No, they don't do that. This was just for the sake of training flights.
Yeah. That's exciting. I mean, talking about airline terms, like airline lingo, how accurate are those? Like you're landing and the voice says 10 meters, 20 meters, like terrain.
The voiceovers which you get.
On your it happens on simulator games as well.
Yeah, even the games.
It says terrain, something like takeoff. Like how?
Basically, it's called as GPWS, Ground Proximity Warning System, wherein I think the radar. It's always active, so it just judges the height spontaneously.
To be honest.
It's very accurate. It's literally very accurate.
Yeah, amazing. I've seen this. You've seen this movie Sully?
Of course.
Obviously. Why the fuck did I even ask that question? Tell me about your experience. Like how like landing a plane on a fucking water. That was the movie which made me like, oh wow, flying.
That was the first movie like everyone realized that even something like this can happen, and like
to beat a true story, it's just
and save all the passengers, not even single casualty.
Yes.
Like first when I saw that, like I think it happened in September. Yeah, it just happened recently.
Oh, okay.
Like I follow this guy Sully on Instagram,
and
I think the passengers now they became like a small family. Like actually, it just bonded them together. That one day just bonded them together, and on every on the day of occurrence they meet up with Captain Sully and the first officer.
Okay.
I think that was like first time ever even Airbus has encountered an incident like that, because at such
Boeing,
low
right?
altitude.
I think I want to get to that. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, like having a dual engine failure. Like it was a 2-engine aircraft.
Yes.
And at such a low altitude, immediately after takeoff,
they encountered bird strike.
Because of those big birds.
Yeah.
Both of the engines fail at lower altitudes, and
so they could not.
If you have seen that movie, there were some simulations which were
at the end of the day.
And when I think the one line which he says,
human factor.
Keep it human. When he says that,
you have not considered the human factor. Yeah.
Like if you want to make it point out the human error, then make it human.
Yes.
He says that.
Our
lines
I got goosebumps. Yeah, fuck.
So they consider the human factor.
Yeah.
The stress which we have at that lower altitude to face a situation. Like no one was trained for that ever before that.
Exactly. That's exactly what he says. Like nobody's ever trained to have a dual engine failure at a lower altitude. Oh, such an exciting.
And I think his presence of mind to take that bold decision to land on water.
Like anything could happen. You have 100 souls on your hand.
I think about more than 100.
That's kudos to what he did. We were talking about this failure thing, I've seen a lot of news in the past 5 years about Boeing aircrafts being malfunction. Like most accidents happening with a Boeing aircraft and Airbus being
you mean the 737 Max incidents,
yeah,
right?
I don't remember the name, but yes, the 737 Max being the most failured thing.
Yeah, there were like many accidents. Like, recently, the Lion Air incident where, it was.
Do you
Boeing
follow Ryanair on
737.
Instagram?
Sorry?
Do you follow Ryanair on Instagram?
Ryanair?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Ryanair has the.
No, but like it just comes out of his, like I think I don't know. It just got a reputation of those hard landing stuff. It's not
They
always
do?
that. It's
Oh,
not,
no.
it's not always that. Like why do you
That's
do
so
that?
exciting, man. What they do.
Yeah. Like yeah, for those non-aviation, it's funny.
Okay.
But it's not always like that. Why do like no one intentionally damages their own aircrafts? Yeah.
The fact that they actually acknowledge it on social media, like somebody's asking, like they put their leg on my, like it's not our problem, it's your problem. Like they just blatantly tweeted about that. So.
But if you see, like because of that one small acknowledgement, we both are speaking about that. Today.
Oh yeah, that's marketing. That
Like
they've
indirectly
achieved their
marketing,
marketing thing. Honestly, we would have not known about what Ryan is. They never fly in India, so we have no idea what it is. So. I mean, kudos to your marketing team, guys. yeah. Talking about.
How about these incidents? 737 Maxes. It wasn't about the engines. They had a new system incorporated in them. Like they wanted to give a tough fight for the Airbus, where they were leading like business. Yeah. So they incorporated a new technology called MCAS, where it wasn't taught to the pilots. Like they just told it just required a iPad session. Like that was the thing which was in the movie, like The Downfall, which was in the Netflix. It has a documented movie. So this was the thing which was showing. Yeah. So they just mentioned that pilots just need small iPad course before actually flying the new model. And they're not entirely trained, like thorough training on that new system. And that just
I think they stopped, right? They stopped production of that particular.
No, they have installed. I think they have done some minor changes where you can actually deactivate it. Like if you kind of see that it's not properly functioning, I think they have installed some other new deactivation system.
So let's settle this debate: Airbus or Boeing? What does Varun think?
I don't know. Like to be frank, this was the first question which I got on my interview.
Oh.
For my aviation academy interview. Like to be more honest, Boeing. Like because if you see these Airbus aircrafts, they're more of an. I think you have seen those memes.
Yeah.
Where they'll
show
a Boeing.
Controls.
Yeah, Boeing aircraft. They show it as a bus driver moving his gear like this, and for an Airbus aircraft pilot, they just do like he just handles it with his two fingers. Yeah. Like, it's not that pattern, but it's like more of an automation in Airbus. Boeing is like more manual work.
So you could say driving a manual car is
exactly.
Boeing.
You just get that feeling of feeling of flying.
Yeah.
Come on, you're coming here to fly, not like to sit on autopilot.
So it's like you could say driving a manual car is like driving a Boeing. Driving an automatic
like an Airbus.
So, wow, that's amazing. I want to talk about this a very legendary aircraft, the Concorde.
Oh yeah, the Concorde.
Concorde. Yeah. My God, I mean, it's
the
amazing.
Supersonic
going
passenger
supersonic.
aircraft.
I mean, this was the time when I was in my 10th class.
Yeah, I think we were in a high school stage when it was first. I think the first airline was.
I mean, it was back in the day, but when it was decommissioned and all, when I first heard about it, I was actually learning about scramjet engines.
Oh yeah. Ramjet and scramjet.
Yeah, the Ram and scramjet engines. So I was very excited about, you're going at a certain speed, and again, air is actually making you go
even faster.
Compressing an air is making you go even faster. So scramjet was very interesting. That's when I got to know about Concorde.
So basically, that was the first aircraft where it made the dream come true of supersonic flying. Like until now, all the passenger aircraft they just fly until like less than Mach 1, which is the speed of sound.
Less than Mach 1.
Yeah, no, all the aircraft which you see commercially flying, they fly less than Mach 1. They don't go up to Mach 1.
They can?
I'm not sure. I think the structural limit won't allow them to cross the Mach barrier. The Concorde was made for that, and it had the capability of crossing Mach 1, achieve higher speeds than sound. But when you say when you have more facilities, there comes more difficulties as well along with that.
To maintain the
To
aircraft,
maintain
as
that,
obviously
and
it's what do we
I think the handlings were also a little different, handling the aircraft as well.
obviously to have a passenger aircraft with a Mach 1 speed, there has to be some maintenance, heavy cost involved as well.
Heavy cost, heavy.
Which probably won't be. They probably never break even with the even if they're running still now, I guess. And yeah, again, as you said, safety is what matters. So you can't afford such a large, such a powerful aircraft for a passenger.
And if I'm not wrong, I'm not sure on this. I think I heard it somewhere on the social media where I'm not sure if it's a rumor or not. Even Air India was interested for Concorde.
Oh wow!
I was like, after reading that, I just got like chills in my like. Come on, like Air India was actually planning for that.
I mean, imagine like Air India labeled Concorde flying from Delhi to Hyderabad.
Seriously.
Oh god, such an awesome flight, talking about some awesome flights. I don't remember the Blackbird. Is it the Blackbird? The one?
Oh yeah,
the US military
has the Blackbird.
That's one. Like, what do they call it? I don't remember.
Even I don't remember the technical name. Yeah, they call it the Blackbird, where
it's very anonymous.
Stealth aircraft,
basically. Yeah,
stealth aircraft.
Bomber. It's a.
Oh wait, I think it's a B2.
Yeah,
I think it's
B2 bomber.
Yeah, B2 bomber.
I think B2 bomber is probably the Northrop B2 bomber.
That's like the stealth aircraft. Like literally, you can just fly into anyone's radar and still go unnoticed. Like.
God, just look at that. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, how can an aircraft be structurally like that? And it's crazy. So there was this time. So there was some air show happening in USA, and I saw this reel where for an aircraft which is supposed to be stealth, what this guy did was he went on Google Maps. He went to that. He zoomed into the satellite vision, and he could actually at one frame. Obviously, it's flying so fast.
Yeah.
So at one frame, he could see an actual the B2 aircraft in the satellite images from Google.
Okay.
I did that. I checked that.
Okay.
I actually went to the coordinates. He gave a coordinate on that. Like click on this coordinate. You'll actually turn it onto a satellite view. You'll see a bomber jet, and I've actually seen it.
Or maybe it's not in the
stealth
it
mode.
Wasn't operating and it wasn't in stealth mode.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So I mean, people made a lot of fuss about that. Like for it to be a stealth mode, I can see it on satellite maps.
Yeah.
But oh my god, that's an amazing.
It's really amazing. Yeah, and even the design, like come on, it was like there's no separate wing for that. Like the body itself is like a flying wing.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, it just came out of me. Like talking about the flying wing, Airbus is actually starting a concept called flying wing, like where you are, like you literally have your cabin in the wing, like the aircraft is mounted in the shape of a wing, like so that makes it more like efficient kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can fit more people.
More people, and I think fuel efficiency better in that, and it's also coming up with these hydrogen fuels. When they use this fuel cell technology.
I mean, the whole world is moving towards carbon neutral thing, and aircraft is probably one of the major contributors.
Yes, I admit that. I accept that. We are the biggest polluters.
Oh, I thought it was statistically. Maybe I thought like something industries and all, but like aircrafts are actually
aircrafts. Yeah. Like I mean, in terms of the transport, like not considering all the industries, in terms of the different transports we have. Like for example, the aircraft which I've flown, I think it consumes about 20 to 25 liters per hour. Okay. On an average RPM, it's considered around 20 to 25 liters per hour. Wherein car and they just consume very little in that.
I think we won't stop flying just because of environment.
Come on, like India just crossed China, bro. So
yeah.
They won't stop flying.
I think the airline is just gonna buy some environmental credits from some green company, and they're like, we're done.
We have the certificate with us.
Yeah, I mean that's what Apple is doing. I mean they said they're carbon neutral, but they just bought environmental credits. So yeah. What else can you tell us about some crazy stuff?
Not some crazy stuff. Like about the training stuff which I have done. Maybe of the experience I have so far.
Your most challenging moment. What has it been?
Oh yeah, there was one landing. I'll just give you a brief of the initially how it started. Like initially before every flight, we do something called as pre-flight briefing, where we check literally we check everything coming from aircraft documents, paperwork, until the weather, the route which you'll be flying, the waypoints, as I told you, the waypoints which you'll be inserting, and the weather, the forecast weather in future, how it will be there. We do everything about that. And there was a weather forecast, the rain which was approaching our aerodrome, and it was about like 30 to 40 minutes from our place. And it wasn't much significant one. Like we can actually calculate, like in the software which we have, we can actually calculate how much time it takes. So in those stuff, I don't like, if we just have like 30 minutes of flight, I told him it should not be an issue, we can take off and come back safely. Sometimes, like I was in training.
You can't anticipate it.
Yeah, we can't anticipate. He was like, I think my instructor already knew that, but maybe he just wanted me to check, like,
understand
how was my judgment.
Yeah.
So on my we were doing circuits. When you just take off, go around the airport and come back, we call it as one circuit.
Okay.
I was just doing those circuit patterns. That was my, the sortie basically on that, the training session on that day. I think I was on my 5th circuit. That was my last one. I had to land and I was literally on my final. Like I was straight to the runway, and suddenly the rain started. Okay. It was totally pouring down, and I was descending because I was coming down. I was coming for landing, and it just started pouring down, and literally zero visibility. I mean, like I couldn't even see the runway properly, and I was just looking at the captain. I just saw like this, like, come on, what can I do? Like, I don't know how to handle that situation by then. I just saw him like, okay, just make yourself comfortable. Like, if you want to listen, like, just relax for some time. We just did go around. No, we just did go around. We did a go around, and we just did another circuit. Wherein by the time I came back, the rain just passed the aerodrome. Like it just took about 6 to 7 minutes to complete the circuit. The rain just passed the aerodrome. It just crossed the runway part. So I think these are some small they just sound small, but these are like very major decisions which you take in the air.
I've seen. I would say the only I can relate this with this because I've seen a video where this guy is actually driving a big aircraft. I think it's a passenger one. He was landing. I can from the camera I can see the runway from his cockpit view. He's almost landing. I think it was just even the voice even said like 30 meters or something, 30 something,
feet.
30 feet or something, 30 feet, and the rain starts. In 30 feet distance, there's zero visibility.
Oh yeah. Even I've seen that. I've seen that.
In just 30 feet, just like
it's just zero. Like you just become blind.
I mean, as a normal person, you would say like, okay, there is a runway or there. Why don't you just like do this now? Just land. Na? But the fact that he actually goes around that even with zero visibility is what. That's when I went to the comments and people were explaining. If you have zero visibility, just take off.
Like if you're not even sure by 1%, if it's like 99% sure, don't land. It's only like landing is like you'll always be prepared for go around.
Okay. Yeah.
Pilot always be prepared for go around. Landing is like a
it's like an accidental byproduct.
Accidental byproduct. Like it's more like a luck product. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why as we talk about like you're always at minimum thrust.
Yeah.
I believe. Fuck, that's amazing.
I think that's what the airport which I was talking in Istanbul. The Cat 3 Charlie approach, where you do a zero visibility approach. Like this was due to the rain, but back in Istanbul, I think the visibility itself is always like that.
Okay.
So they have mandated it for the aircrafts.
God, to have an automated, I still can't wrap my head around to have an autopilot landing itself. The first time I was at, I flew, I think it was Goa, I guess. I was going to Goa. So I was obviously first time out there, I was at the window seat and all. I saw that it was slowly taxiing away to the main runway, and it stopped there because there was another aircraft like taking off. Like he applied the thrust, I guess, and I could actually feel my head go.
Feel that force on you.
Yeah, I could feel the G-force and all. It was so fucking exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I got that excited was when I was driving a car on Ovara, just. Thumping your accelerator, just the turbo.
You can actually do that now. We got 120. We got upgraded to 120.
Yeah. I mean, I still follow only 120s. I never went beyond that.
Let's see. Yeah. To be on record, we just drive 120.
Yeah, 120. So that's what I remember. Fuck, this is how it feels like. The turbo is something. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
But to have it to feel that kind of thrust in an airplane was so fucking exciting.
Like even now, like I think I've flown like more than a dozen times, but even when I sit in the aircraft now,
Oh,
I still get that.
It happens even in Cessnas as well. Like any aircraft, like.
Yeah, in Cessnas, you don't feel that much of like the force pushing you back, but yeah, you do have that. Like on the regular commercial aircrafts, where I fly in as a passenger, then I get that feel of the initial, the exciting feeling.
And for very recently, I've never flown during night time. So very recently, I did the Bangalore to Hyderabad night flight, and the views. I mean, I could not even imagine. Like, this is how the lights look, the ORR looks. Oh, it's fucking exciting.
Talking about the night flying during the 50-hour training, which I told, I did also have a 2 hours of night training, wherein I had to fly visually, looking outside without using the GPS. Exactly. Even that was the reaction. What do you want to look me out during night? Like, lighting kanipisthadi ratri. Like, come on. That was the actual task where we had to fly visually at night, and I was flying in Europe, as I told you.
I mean, but you need to know the geography, kada?
No. That was the thing. Like, we were doing a pre-flight where the instructor explained us. Like, we didn't have to totally know about the aerodrome. We just knew of the aerodrome, like airport, the taxiways, where you have the runway, what's the direction of the runway, and all this stuff. We don't know about the geography of the local geography surrounding. So he was explaining us where you have these, with these lights, as you told, there are a few churches, or you have these big kind of statues which are with lights, which are visible basically. Yeah. So he was explaining these were the like kind of waypoints, visual waypoints, which you consider during your night flying. So each airport has its own. So we have to consider those visual waypoints, and when you see that light coming over you, you actually start the turn. So that was the way which. That's the actual flying. That's actual flying. That's called as actual flying.
Yeah, that's interesting actually
Actually, the 50 hours which I've done was like the most interesting part of the career.
Oh.
Even when I was doing the last flight, the instructor was like, oh, okay, then done with your manual flying, go to autopilot. Come on, don't like.
So even Cessnas has autopilots?
I'm not sure. I think bigger Cessnas have autopilots in them.
Okay, that's amazing. I want to ask this question.
Go ahead.
Is it called a cockpit because the liver is between your legs?
No, come on.
No, it's a genuine question.
No, it's not about that. I think it just came from the.
Give me a reason why. See, there is a liver between your legs.
Yeah. No, like. Yeah, come on. Like, in Boeing we do have, but in Airbus we don't have that. But still, it's called a cockpit. Yeah. Like even I don't know exactly why do they call it cockpit, but it's like the main, the control center of the aircraft.
I think Wright brothers, when they made it, they were like, "Arey, come on! There's a stick over there. There's a stick over there. I have a stick. Okay, what do we call this place? Let's call this cockpit." I think that's why I'm gonna believe
maybe some aviation enthusiasts which are watching, like maybe you could give the reason. I'm
still not gonna be convinced. I'm not convinced because of only that reason. It's called a cockpit because there's beep. Yeah. I saw this on the reel, so I just had to tell it. I was waiting for this podcast to happen, so I could actually use this fucking word. Yeah. So I think I don't even remember how long we are shooting for. I don't
know, we're just talking on and on.
I had this point where I wanted to just shoot for like 40 minutes because 40 minutes is the ideal podcast time where people are going to actually listen. But I don't know. I don't know what's the timing as well. So yeah, moving on, I have something exciting to share as a gift. A question, something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, can I have the phone please? Where is it? It's in WhatsApp, kada? Yeah, that's fine. So, just to give you a prior context, I was recently flying from Bangalore to Hyderabad, and while I was deboarding, I wanted to actually look at the cockpit. So, someone in rails or someone told me that wait until everybody deboards so that you'll have some time to ask them to look around. Yeah. So while I was deboarding, I was the last person to get off the flight, and I saw the captain over there, and I was like, okay, that's when I realized, okay, like Varun's coming for podcast, so let me ask him a question and stuff, okay. So what
Oh wait,
yeah.
you actually bought a question from him.
Yeah, so this
Okay.
captain for Indigo Airlines, he gave me an audio clip. And he asked you a question basically. As a trainee pilot, this was his question. I want you to. Studying with Saudi Arabian Airlines, I believe.
Oh, nice. That's
And
really
he's in
good.
his final year of graduating. So I would like you to ask him a question as a captain yourself.
Okay, so it's just like an HR question. So, hi Varun, this is Captain Saravanan from Indigo. All the best for your future endeavor to becoming a pilot. So, my one good question will be how you gonna manage flying the aircraft and adjusting to culture because culture of different people, because you are in Saudi, you will be meeting different Europeans, Westerners, and even Indians also. How you gonna manage adjusting with them, and at the same time following your procedure and flying the aircraft? How you gonna handle it? So all the best. Do well.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So.
Oh, nice. Very nice of you. Thank you so much, firstly, for that. And thank you for the captain as well.
Yeah.
I think from Indigo.
Captain Sharwan.
Captain Sharwan from Indigo.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that, actually.
I wanted to record a video of him doing that, but he said he was in a uniform, so he didn't probably.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Like when you're into the airline, you have to follow the norms of the airline. So,
Wow.
so coming to his question. Yes, I think than in any other industry, aviation has more of a cultural, like different people, people from different cultures, places, literally like every part, some other part of the world coming in and working with you, working in your country. Like something that is like from the day one where you start your training is where you're taught to be like, you have to be, like once you're getting into a industry like this, you have to have a mindset where you have an like open mindset kind of thing. Like you can't go with broad mind. You have to be broad minded first thing when you're getting into such industry, and you need to be open for like new people, new suggestions. Like come on, like if someone is like for example, this not only this barrier, you also have this age barrier where you can have the first officer like 40, 45 years. And a captain can be like 30, 35 years.
Okay.
Like the first officer, the junior one is bigger than you.
Oh.
It can happen sometimes. Then you shouldn't feel like, come on, should I take instructions from him, like kind of thing. So alantidi kuda undadu. When you are in the cockpit, okay, pilot room.
I think I've ruined cockpit for you for your entire life.
Okay, so when you are in that seat, you are responsible. First thing is which should come to your mind is the responsibility which you have taken up. So that's the first thing which you have to choose, and you have to first thing open-minded. You have to accept everything. You have to start accepting everything as it is. Then there shouldn't be any issue like such issues, language barriers, cultural differences, and training. From day one, we are taught to be together with everyone. Like coming to my batch, which I am being trained presently, I have different people like people from Canada, different people from Jordan, people from Pakistan. Like we just go as a batch.
Yeah.
We don't go as we don't start forming groups.
Yeah.
Like these groups,
Yeah.
Facebook groups and
Yes.
stuff. We don't go like that. Like just go with everyone.
I think that's
Just mingle with
that's
it.
an amazing answer.
That's one of the reasons, where you choose these kind of industries. Apart from having having passion, yes, that's a major thing which you should have. At the same time, you should have be able to accept everyone, and you shouldn't feel like shy to put your opinion. Like for example, even if it's a small decision, even if it doesn't matter to the safety or flying of the aircraft, just put it out. If it has to be done there, do it there. Like for example, during my initial training of those 50 hours, there was a situation where I was coming to land, and my instructor was like, I was in the initial hours, about like less than 10 hours. He was like, I think he was just trying to make me more familiar on the aircraft. He just gave me permission to land myself. And I wasn't properly aligned on the runway. I was just trying to, like, elagaina runway paina techeyalani, I was getting to that. So he was like, go around Mulk immediately.
Okay.
As soon as there's a go around sound, we have to put the power and take off again. And after coming down in the debrief, he told, you had to take a decision of, like, you had to do the decision of go around there, but you did not choose that. Like you were compromising on safety over there. Like I felt like I did feel
like ఒక అంచనాతో ఒక చేసేయగలనేమో అనే ఒక
that would be there కదా normal when you like that shouldn't be done actually, but కొత్తగా when you don't know how to do and తెలియనప్పుడు you just feel like okay ఎలాగో అలా just get it on the runway, put it down అని. But later I think around my 35th hour or somewhere I was almost landing solo. He was like instructor was with me. I was doing the landing. I wasn't sure on the runway, like I was a little high on the approach. ఏ హైట్లో అయితే రావాలో దానికన్నా హైట్లో ఉన్నా. సో డిపెండింగ్ ఆన్ దట్ ఐ థాట్ ఐ వుడ్ ల్యాండ్ ఫర్దర్ అవే టు ది రన్ వేర్ అపార్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ ల్యాండింగ్ ఆన్ ది టచ్ డౌన్ జోన్. I told him, Captain, I think we might cross the touchdown, we'll better go around. Immediately go around and immediately after takeoff he told good decision on it. So that's the day I felt like, ఎక్కడైతే పోగొట్టుకున్నామో అక్కడే వెతుక్కోవాలంటారు కదా. So he marked me for go around decision, like no go around decision అని. That changed. A comment mari, good decision for go around and changes it. That was like.
I think it's been an amazing time. If we wanted to talk, we could talk for like an hour.
Literally, even if I want to talk, I can just talk hours and hours on this.
Maybe when you're a captain, then we'll do a part 2.
Definitely.
Like
should have a good part.
Like just in a time. When would you be a captain if, let's say, from today?
I think the pace at which my training is going on, it might take around 1 year from now.
To be a captain?
To be a first officer.
Okay,
be a first officer.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah. Hey, also do you remember you promised me flights tickets for Abu Dhabi Grand Prix?
Sure.
I'm 2024.
24.
24.
December or somewhere.
November 24th is the Grand Prix.
Okay, I'll mark it on my calendar. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the tickets. I'm all planning and all. I've booked you for Abu Dhabi. I've booked my friend who's going to Australia. I've booked her for the Australian Grand Prix 2025 March. I need to find some other people in other countries. I have UK, but UK Grand Prix is expensive, so I have to negotiate on that. Dude. She's gonna take my flight tickets and I'll take care of the Grand Prix tickets. So I'm gonna forget that. This is recorded. You can't even deny that.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I think it's been a great time. We will, if we continue, it's gonna be so long. It's better we put a pause to it. As a final question, where do you think the future of aviation is going to be? Oh, sorry. Okay, this is not the end, by the way. I have something else to talk. This Elon Musk. Okay, Elon Musk and we have Blue Origin by Jeff Bezos. We have Virgin Atlantic who want to start tourism,
space tourism.
I'm very excited about the space thing more than aircraft thing. I love exploration. I love Elon Musk. So where do you think the space tourism is going to be?
Maybe the space tourism, I think it's going on a high pace now. Like literally, like within a small span of time, bigger inventions తీసుకొస్తున్నారు వాళ్ళైతే. I think if it becomes affordable, but at the end, affordable అయినా కానీ at the end everyone will consider safety.
Yeah.
Like until he proves himself safe, Elon Musk, I think those Falcon rockets, which had after many reusable rockets. After many crashes, he actually succeeded on that.
Fucking crazy.
But that took a lot of
yeah.
So I think once it's on the mindset of the people. Like once a belief anedi, they have to get that belief on that technology. So once they start believing,
I think that's when slowly expanding our space capabilities.
Like come on, like for example, ఇప్పుడు మనమే ఉండాలి. మన generation, like or my coming to our parents' generation, manual car was the only thing. Like that was the luxurious car back then. మనకు వచ్చేసరికి we had automatic vehicles. And now we have these autopilot vehicles. Like literally don't even need a driver.
We have ADAS, we have electric.
Exactly.
So it's always going to be exciting. And you particularly how in the aviation industry, how the future? What do you think the future is going to be?
First thing, I only pray that pilots are not removed from the call. And like more than the pilot jobs, I think the aviation, the aircrafts itself will be evolved. Like now we have these avgas fuels which are being used. Aviation gas.
Okay.
The aviation fuel basically. It's a little different from the regular kerosene. Those I think will be replaced by the electric aircrafts We also have these aircrafts coming with hydrogen fuel cells, which are run on hydrogen. So I think the future will be more about sustainability, more reduce the carbon emissions and stuff. So I think many industries are focusing on that to reduce the overall effect of the aviation industry.
I think that should be it. I mean, we've already spoiled this planet enough. So carbon neutral 20. Maybe we have F1 going carbon neutral in 2030 as well. So that's the only thing I know. So I think everybody has the targets. I mean, India also has a target to go some carbon emissions target down.
I think carbon zero something.
Carbon zero, yes, yeah. So I think on carbon zero's note, we